Fanisi TV, a platform that centers the role of music and culture in the world from the perspective of artists, intellectuals, and cultural organizers.
Yo,
What's good?
what's
What's
up?
happening?
What's good, man? So, this is the Fanisi TV, Trabali here,
Let's go.
and
Happy
I'm
to be here.
and I'm talking today with the beautiful, amazing, talented, Xtatic.
Yeah, what's good?
Yeah, my first interaction with you was a song you'd had with Kevo, Esther Dawn, and you, I think.
We had
We
a
had we
lot of
had
that.
one jam as well. Was it on Reverb Nation
Actually, we
days?
had I think even 3 together.
Yeah, but
I'm
this
not
specific
sure.
song, you had the third verse, and I just remember like
We on the airwaves with that song we can't mess with.
something
Dun,
like that. But
dun,
it was
dun.
crazy. I'd never heard like a cadence like that, and just the way your voice sounded
Oh,
and the texture. And I wasn't even
actually,
rapping.
yeah. Because
I
I was
was
experimenting on that. Like, I come at the lucky and I, being thinking of the lucky and I, being the
what was the name of the song?
airwaves.
Airwaves, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you, sorry man, you marked all those, like you came through, and I was like, yo, this is dope. And then someone showed me your cool video with the skating and the, what
The
was
prep
it?
track.
The prep track.
Yeah.
So when I saw the prep track, I was like, oh,
That started it
Kenya's
all.
in good hands. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't even like making music at that time. So it's an honor to be having this one-to-one,
It's an honor as well.
yeah,
'Cause,
to be in this space.
big respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were once in like a WhatsApp group about music, and we used to share a lot of music.
Oh,
That's a long
yeah.
time ago.
Very long time ago.
Yeah.
Before I ditched all groups, I went like, no, I'm not doing groups anymore. I went like off.
Yeah.
Even the family groups, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember even in that group, like the music you'd share, it just made me realize that you have this like wide knowledge of music,
Do I?
wide
Oh my
palette
gosh.
of songs. Because it was like guys just trying to like share what they love.
Yeah.
It was just some young kids, and we'd have like discussions about philosophy, religion, and that time.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. I don't know if you remember though.
Was it the group?
You had Diagon, the photographer,
Oh, okay, now I remember.
Nabalayo.
Oh,
some,
no,
yeah.
yeah. So I was in too many groups.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason I had to leave. I had to just like, nah, we had
Yeah.
to bail out.
Yeah, but that's like the mild interaction we've had. And then I think when I was working on Telos, I wanted you to be on a certain track. Then that didn't work out because of just studio times and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all is well. Everything happens at the right time.
Yeah,
So
it does.
I guess that's how I know you. But I'd like you to just like share with the people who you are.
Yeah, so
And
I'm Xtatic. Rapper, singer, songwriter, mom, artist. Like I know it's no people who I don't. Okay, well, I would paint, but I don't. A sketch artist. I'm more of a sketch artist. Yeah, there's that. There's also I'm a business woman with my Kitu Jaba. Yeah, always got it on me, and yeah, just cruising through life.
yeah.
Yeah.
We know you as Xtatic, but apparently you have so many names.
I have so
Can
many
you
names.
tell the people all your
Actually,
names?
I have so many names. In fact, it's so crazy how so many people call me. You know, there's Gloria, there's Edna, my official Gloria Edna Nyabangi. And then from there, there's Sweetie. Everyone called me from Runga. You'll hear people calligraph. You know, every single time. I think it surprises people like how Sweetie, like he says that, and then even BN calls me Sweetie, and it's just like it's a Runga thing. Or people who knew me when I was 18, 17, Apple, everyone knew me as Sweetie. So then there's Xtatic or X, and then there's Ria, and then there's Sams. People who call me Sammy or Sams. Yeah, pretty much. How many of
And
those?
it's Gloria
And then there's
Nyabangi.
Nyarangi. Yeah.
What does Nyarangi mean?
Beautiful one.
Beautiful one.
Yes.
Okay. I also have like many names as well, depending on like I don't know if it's an artist thing. Someone told me if your parents love you, you get many names. I
Oh.
don't know if that's true, but anyway. But yeah, so
Yeah,
does that like bleed into your personality? Like, are
it
you a
does.
person with many names and
Personalities, yes.
many things going on and in who you are?
Yeah, because I can't be ecstatic all the time. In fact, I am ecstatic for a very limited time. Yeah, that's why I don't. I don't know. I guess that's why I don't like being ambushed to rap randomly. Like people think it's a, but I'm not in that. If I'm not in that space to rap, like I put myself in that space to rap. It's like how singing me is not rapping me, and I'm trying to merge those two together because I need to rap and sing when I need to rap and sing at the same time. Because when I want to sing, I have to be, I guess, Ria, and when I have to rap, I have to be ecstatic. So just switching can be a whole, oh my gosh, can you both just function together? Yeah. And of course, I have to be a different me at home. Yeah.
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 And
So it does.
yeah.
So it definitely does.
Is it just in music or also just in your life?
In life in
Yeah.
general, I can't, at home, I'm just a different person.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I respect that. We did an interview at Homeboys, and I just obliged into doing that. And I respected that you said, no, not today. Because
Yeah.
it's like if you meet a lawyer, would you tell him, draft me a brief right now?
Oh,
As
word.
if it just happens like that, or a doctor or something. As
Yeah.
if this. So I respect that you have boundaries in your craft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of creating an alter ego? Like I see artists these days, that's how they tap into other parts of themselves. Like Sasha Fierce and
Is
Doja Cat has
the alter
something.
ego is ecstatic.
But have you ever like thought of like embodying it as something that allows you to?
No, not really. Like, because I feel like when I embody ecstatic, I speak less. I I don't know how it's like. It feels like it's a weird thing to say. You know, it's just like, oh my gosh, but it's a personality thing. Like I don't have a lot to say except, I just write.
Okay.
Like if I'm writing, cool. If I'm speaking, you'll get very short answers, yes and no's, and yeah.
Okay.
So I have to have the personality that just speaks
And
for
what's that? What's
for
the personality that
that
just?
speaks for
Yeah.
no, it feels like, oh, this is a psychological documentary. Yeah. It speaks for Ria.
Ria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is Ria the singer or is Ria?
Singer, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I can whatever into singing right now. But
Okay. But when you grew up, what came first? The singing or the
the
rap?
singing.
The singing.
Yeah.
So now you're just going back to who you really are. Are you like where are you right now? Are you comfortable more with rapping or singing?
I'm comfortable with I was comfortable with rapping. I was never comfortable with singing. I used to be comfortable with singing. In fact, I used to wait until everyone is out of the classroom. So I used to wait for break times and whatever. So I could just sing into like, that echo that, we love that. Like, singers, we go and record in basements and in, parking lots because of how it just sounds, how the music just bounces off, a big space or in bathrooms, makes us makes us sound good. So I used to do that in classrooms. Like I get into an empty classroom and you'll just hear me from everywhere. So people used to, even the teachers used to comment. It's like, oh yeah, there she goes singing again.
Wow.
Loudly. So, and then now I started rap. But if somebody would come into the classroom, I would not sing. And then I got comfortable rapping more. And so I was just like, yeah, I'll do rap more than singing. But then also, even in front of people, just rap, I just think a lot, about what I'm rapping about. I get in my head a lot. So it prevents me from just expressing myself that way. It's just like, yeah, am I in the right personality to just do this? I have the words. Is it believable? It's like, it must be believable, and for it to be believable, the personality must be there. So there's always that with me, and having like ADHD makes me just focus on a lot of things at once, and it just messes everything up. And so, yeah, so I got comfortable rapping and then singing. I didn't like how I used to sing. I used to think it was plain. I thought I could do better. And true to the word, it's like I could do better. So in fact, the very funny thing is within these 2 years is when I've gotten confident in my singing. And within 1 year, so meaning like from July or something to July or June, around June, when I made songs like the songs that I have made, which are unreleased, which are R&B-ish. They are soul. They're soulful. They are also there's also what's this genre? I'm trying to yeah, but I can't remember. Indie, type sounds. Even kind of scissor rock, vibes. Like it's a rock art. Yeah, trying to figure what we call scissor music. It's like they're along like it's on that line of soft rock, but then it's like hip hoppy. Yeah, so I have that as well. So I also have a lot of Afro house, not Afro house. Yeah, I do have an Afro house track. I have an what do we call this music that people do? Afrobeat. Yeah, Afrobeat. I've done that. I've done rumba. Yo, I've done a lot from like this is within a span of a year. So from like June to right now, I developed an identity for my voice in the sense that if you hear this voice, you know it's this person. See, like how you can hear, there are people who, when you listen to them, you hear, I feel like that's also in R&B. But again, some people may come from the same school. So it's just like, yeah, you have an identity in your voice, but you sound similar to like many other people, unless you do a different vibe, unless your writing is what speaks for you. So many things can speak for you. They can, create that identity, maybe through your writing, maybe through, you might sound like somebody else, but through the structure, like you choose to, how you arrange your songs, how you harmonize your songs, how you write your songs, and how the overall vocal direction of your songs create your vocal identity. And that's what sometimes when I get into videos, I rarely post videos on I rarely even go live because I'm always, it's like a weird thing. It's like, there I am waiting. Yeah. Yeah, guys. So you try to act like you're doing something. Yeah, so anyway, I rarely do those videos because I know somebody can keep a live video, still on. Like, so you can save it and all that, but I just find it weird,
Yeah,
you know.
the first time I saw you sing was a cover of Ukweli
Oh,
Silaha.
yeah, yeah, Sila.
And then I was like, yo, why doesn't she?
That's not even the first
But I
song.
know that wasn't. So I went back and you were doing like this, like
Yeah.
TikTok clips where you were harmonizing with
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was
That
like,
was on.
oh, okay, why? This is dope. And so
Thank
I
you.
want to ask you, do you feel like identity is a limiting thing to artists? Because sometimes we feel like we have
Yes.
to hold on to one thing, but this thing is calling you, and it's so obvious to you
Yeah.
that. So has that been a challenge to
And
your?
it has actually, which is leading to my point, which I left. I speak on it, and actually, you've asked the question that where I was headed. I speak on identity because it's very important. Why? I said when I was telling people my voice has changed, and I was telling people this last year. And this year, again, it's just like, yeah, my voice has changed again. And it's not my voice has changed. It's like the identity is solidifying into like, this is how you want to do. This is what you want to do. Because even you find that you learn, you see like how I can harmonize a track, someone's track, in a way that they didn't. Now that's me making it my own. That's me making a cover my own. But if you're going to sing it exactly as, that's why I'm always like, we do not need another Whitney Houston. We do not need another Jasmine Sullivan. They are the artists, in their own craft, like they are who they are. That's an identity that they have. We shouldn't try to be like, we can learn things from them. I have learned things from them. But trying to be like them is limiting yourself, especially in your writing, because what you're always going to do is, and now this is the short videos that you're always going to try to not write from your own experiences. You're going to, and I find it, sometimes I want to call names, but then I don't want to call. I find it in most writers around, let's say around here, like when I listen to them, like, in fact, one of the best writers to me, like and singer is Sage. I listen to, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like you'd want to either be so happy with her or give her a hug, and it's like, oh my gosh, when she did Maskini, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I feel that, and her writing, amazing, harmonizing, oof, amazing, ad-libs, we just stand.
Yeah.
So it just gives you a sense of direction, and most importantly, it makes it easier for you to write, because now you're listening to a song and it's just like you already know the structure, and now the words just come out. It's just like, this is what I've been waiting for, this is what I've been looking for. And that's why for me, I'm not I'm still having a dilemma in between being mass consumed, like mass. I'm not into mass consumption. I'm just
Same.
like, yeah, I know something can happen and somebody can go viral and whatever, but I feel like mass consumption is too draining. It's like everyone just gets to dictate when you can drop an album. If if it's not enough, it's never enough for them, because a lot of people like lose, like their attention span. Oh yeah, we're gonna move on. But if you're really good, they will stick right there. It's like how we're waiting for Rihanna still.
Yeah.
We will still wait. And that's the thing. I love being like a niche. Like even the product, my Java product, I said I want it to be like very niche, and not like mass production, mass whatever. It's
Yeah.
like that's my goal, is just to make it better or make myself better. I don't need to work on, oh yeah, we need a new song. And I've always worked on, like, I don't, it feels like I never care, but I do. It's just like, I'm just like, yeah, people don't get, and I don't say this often, I just don't feel I'm right there. Like I'm where I need to be with music, and but now that's me who was saying that. But now I feel like I've gotten to that point where, oh yeah, actually, I want to record.
Yeah.
I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to work on. On my voice especially, but I feel confident. I may not sound the same way next year. In a year, a lot will have changed, but at least I've gotten like that identity. It does help if you work on your identity, like especially in music, even in rap, even in like, I kid you not, in rap. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen you also evolve as a person, not just your identity in music necessarily. There's a time you're on TV arguing about atheism, debating
Nah.
imams and debating
Oh my
like
gosh.
Chris, and I was like, yo, where was this when I was like at 17 writing long
Right.
Facebook posts? But that's another thing about you that you like people don't understand about artists. They just
Yeah.
think it's the music, but it comes from so many
It
places.
does. It does, because
Yeah.
that's also a moment in time. I can, if I was to be taken back, I wouldn't say some things. I wouldn't be that militant. But then it's also a phase. It's also a phase. Like I was just militant, and you must prove a point. You must say, and it's just like, no, not all the time. You must let people do what they want or feel, like if it's of course harmless. But you must let people believe. You must let people, you know, be. Let people be,
Yeah.
because you don't know what a person who is, say, believing in a rock, just a rock or a pumpkin, like what it's helping this person achieve. Things as such. That's why we're human and sentient. We need, some things. So letting people be is, but then when you're still, I was like, what, 24? And, like just learning, just, and just thrown out there. And, you just feel like, oh, let me speak for, but then I also felt, I think that the reason why I may not go back to listen to what I was saying, but I kind of I am proud of that moment because we were always like shunned on, like, as atheists or agnostics. You say that you're a demon, you're this, you're that, like, and then women atheists is always just like men. It was like we were never represented. That's the only thing that was like it's out there. Like we're here,
Yeah.
and it's a normal thing to not, feel any connection to a God. It may be gods to you, it may be the universe. Yeah, so
Yeah. But yeah, it's you're still using your voice. That's the most important
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And you mentioned all your names, but you didn't mention Milele, and it's even tattooed on your hand.
Oh yes, my
Yeah, like so. What's why Milele
oh
was? Yeah, you said Ria sounds,
yeah, Milala is actually
and
it's my son's name.
oh wow,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, but I got it before he was born because I got it with it's one of those tattoos you get together with a person you love. Yeah, so there's that.
forever. Okay, okay. So yeah, I'm just wondering as your voice evolves and stuff, and you were one of those artists who was thrown into the game at quite a very young age. Even when you say you were like debating about religion, you were 24, that's still very young. Can you like share the whole journey, the whole process, like what of like the linear process, like from like you doing your first song,
Yeah.
getting signed, the whole journey until maybe even now to where you
My
are?
first song was just after school. I think it was either after school or I cut school. I don't know. A friend of mine called Leanne, she introduced me to Sniper SB, rest in peace. And then I was in the studio and I recorded. Like, he helped me know that this is how you record. This is what at first you're just like, how do people record? And it seems like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a process. It's gonna be like this, you know, you never know. You get in there and you're just rapping and you never know a lot of things. I find it so fun, like remembering like what I didn't know that I do know right now. But anyway, it was Sniper, and then we started making music together. In fact, we wanted to start a group. I think it was supposed to be like XP. I don't know. But we wanted to have a group where I was singing and he was rapping, basically. Actually, most of our songs were me singing and him rapping. There were songs where I was rapping, but like all songs were me singing and him rapping, and they were amazing. In fact, there's this song that I love. It's on my SoundCloud by King Kaka. Then he was Rabbit, um, Rabbit, Sniper, and me. It's a very lovely song. Yeah, so that's how I started, and then of course MC Africa, and then Wapi, and at times, actually many times, I'd go to Wapi just to be like the beatboxer and all that, and
You
then
beatbox as well.
yeah, so because I was too shy to rap, and then now after that, MC Africa, then I got like, this, oh my gosh, this rapper, this big rapper who. And then there was the prep track, recorded it. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to shoot. It was the first song that I've ever like really done anything for, like being very serious with it. It's like shooting.
Was the
a
Nike
video.
placement intentional? You had like, what did you have? There's a
The
thing. There's a
Sony.
brand. Sony. There
No,
was a
actually, it
brand thing that
wasn't.
those
People
brand.
actually thought that.
Yeah, so it kind
It
of
was.
seemed
I
like
had Sony head. We had like
Sony
Sony headphones.
headphones.
Yeah,
Yeah, is that what led to the deal? What? Because
and I actually will never know. I
yeah,
will.
because when
I
I
guess
saw that, I was
what
like,
I
oh,
say is
this.
like it's the skill. I guess it's the skill.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But we did that. We were intentional about like recording, getting it mastered and mixed, and like putting it out there and like promoting it. And that's when I started my own page. I think that's when I started like the Xtatic page or Twitter page. Yeah, I think it started in like 20. I had the. Did I have the Facebook page? Really? No. I started it then, and then we even made shirts. I come to think of it, we made shirts, and my friend Liz was wearing this shirt, and I took a picture of it, and I think she shared. Um, and we went in like on a very small scale, large scale, whatever. And then on Twitter we had Nick. By then I was working with this manager called Nick Mugambi, and he helped me do a lot of that. Like I think even through Anita Nderu, they helped like promote it and put it out there. The track was by Provoke. The video Mush King shot it, and then once we put it out there, it was like people retweeted. It was like, oh, so this is how Twitter works. Even at some point, you're like, wow, okay, this is how it really works. And then Chris Kirubi tweeted it, and then after that, a lot of people, even the Roots guy, Questlove, yeah, Questo when Questo got it, like I was just like, no way. I was like, no way. It was like really, like really good flow from a Kenyan rapper, like something to do like with that. It was really a moment where I was like, for real, like Questlove, for real. And then I was called by Sony. I think it was 1st April. I may be wrong, however, I think it was maybe 1st April. It's either that or it was on my birthday. Because I remember being like, is this April's Fools? Like, is somebody fooling me? Yeah, because I didn't know about, like, they just called me out of nowhere. Nobody was just like, oh, a heads up, somebody has been asking about you. Nothing. So I pick up the phone, it's like, uh-huh. It's like, hang up and call me back tomorrow. So I think it may have been like April. That's why I was just like, call me in a second, then I'll believe you. Or it may have been on my birthday. But I think on my birthday is when I signed or I got the contract or just something. Yeah, I'm just confusing dates, but yes. That's how it was. It was a really big deal. I was like, whoa, for real? Me? Why? Just one song? I was really nervous about it. And then now
And how old were you at that time?
20.
20.
Maybe
Okay.
20, yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, I was actually 20. So, come to think of it, when I look at, this is just a segue. Right now, like how we see young artists, and we think, oh my gosh, like this 18, 19, 20-year-old, like they have it going on. And then it's just like, you really forget you got signed at 20. You really got signed at 20. And it's just like, yeah, actually. Because even when we look at this guy, can we talk for a minute? He was signed pretty young. Aaliyah was signed pretty young. Destiny, Beyonce, and all that. It's like, yeah, we get older and we kind of maybe forget that most of these artists we were just really young. Like we were really young when we started doing this, or when we even got a bit of recognition. Yeah, so I was 20 then, and then so gave me the contract, gave it to some lawyer, gave it to Nick, and then Nick gave it to a lawyer, and he's like, yeah, I think the contract is okay for you. But by then, the thing is, it's not the contracts that are like, because people will talk about, oh, you didn't read, you didn't whatever. It's just like, would you have done it any differently? It's just like, oh yeah, you're whatever, you're stupid, whatever. It's just like, no. Would you have done it any differently? The only thing I think is just one clause I would have changed, possibly just one clause or two. Let's just say only two. either way, because you're thinking, I'm going into a label. They're pretty much going to be doing everything. They're going to be handling, contracts with other people. They're going to be getting me shows. They're going to be whatever. If you have a good management, if you have a good label that truly wants to work for you, you're going to pretty much, get all that you are looking for. And I feel like being that young and getting exposed, that was one of the perks. Getting exposed to this large market. There are people who even they didn't know my music. They even till this day, they probably just knew like one song, but not paid so much attention. They just knew me for the deal announcement, and then it's just like when you look into it's like, oh, you're actually a pretty good rapper. It's like, wow. You just thought they signed
Yeah.
me. No, but still, yeah.
But then the jam with the Pretty Ugly and AKA
AKA, yeah.
dropped.
It dropped.
And when
Wiles dropped, and
yeah,
then that dropped. He was also coming up as well. He'd never worked with any other artists like from a different country. So, and he says that in an interview, like I introduced him to like a broader, especially like Eastern Africa or even like the rest of Africa. I think he had an interview with, was it Ruby or just someone before years back, and he was pretty happy about it. So after that, everything begins to get quiet. Focus is not there on any of my projects, and then it just feels like it's strategy after strategy that's being pushed on me while nothing is happening. And then I'm just like, okay, so what now? What now? Because it's not like you're telling me you're shelved. And then, that's what somebody can, like, let's say a label can say later on, like, we shelved them. Okay, fine. Did you inform them that you shelved them? Or you shelved the album? You can inform them. And
had you made music or it was just
I had 23 full tracks.
yeah.
Like it was a multi-album deal. So why were this albums, you know? And actually, many Kenyans got it wrong because they saw multi-million. So Shana Naishi Maisha. So, but that was not the case. So that's really, first of all, there was a confusion with that because many people had this idea that I'm just living large while I was just introverted and just staying at home. And, people thought I was in South Africa. Yes, there were points I was there, but I was just at home, like, or recording, and it wasn't quite the life. It was just, a whole lot of, okay, now I wait. If you didn't like this song, why don't you tell me to redo? I wanted to redo some of the songs later on. After a year or two, you're just like, why don't you redo this song? It's just like, nah, we can't. We keep on spending this much. It's just like, if you, I don't even have to come to South Africa. We could spend that money on me recording here. And you could have your files and we could have like another album if it's another album that you do want. So it became really complicated to points where I would, beg. When now my mom was dying, it's just like begging them for shows. Like, please, my mom is dying. I'm not even asking for a handout. I'm just asking, can you work for me? And then of course now they're just like, yeah, just wait. And of course my mom died. And I feel it just had to do with healthcare. She didn't have the best healthcare. She would have lived. But best healthcare comes, money. And yeah, pretty much that was my journey. And then I had to, of course, leave the label. Like, time had run out, but we had to just discuss. We sat down with like lawyers, like, nah, this is not working. Just release her. Yeah.
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 Yeah, even like when I listened to the whole conversation, the way you talked about the prep track and how you walked in it, like your energy there was an excitement and like, and then there's this thing that's to other people is supposed to be the most exciting thing. And then I'm looking at the times we're living in where like albums are being phased out, but the energy you put on that one song like did something. It gave you, there's this
Yeah.
Absol line where he says the gods punish us by answering our prayers. And then you get where you want to be and you're like, oh, I wish I'd taken longer with the
Yeah.
journey and done things like that. But do you feel in these times like that same formula can be applied? Like
It
rather
is.
than stressing yourself to have a body of work, like actually
Yes.
just do things you love and create it and put it. Do you feel like that's
Actually,
where you're back to, or do you feel that's the thing you could give us as a
that's why I'm back.
formula?
I am
Or
actually, and I usually say this. I'm glad I took time. I'm really glad I took time because I feel like I would have hated things. Like I would have loved and hated things that I did, you know, and there would have been a lot of them out there, and it would have been from people pushing me to do things. You know, by then you're just living, kind of like if you are, you know, mass consumed, everyone else dictates like Tongoma leo, Tongoma, you know, Tongoma, Munuja Tongoma, and then you're listening to them, and then you release whatever, you know, song, you know, and it becomes it just really becomes a lot of things out there that maybe you don't even you won't even like, you won't even, because there are many songs of mine. I can tell you I listen to a quarter of the songs that I have made in the past only. Yeah, so and within actually that period is when I actually did the mixtape, the Let Me Explain mixtape, which till this day I love. I think that one I'm okay with. Maybe what song would I not be okay with? Actually, I do love Let Me Explain, you know, because I have, in fact, I'm performing some of the songs from like Let Me Explain, you know, with a special.
is that the one with your mom on the cover?
He no,
What's that? What's that one?
that one was the 2015 one. The one that one with my mom on the cover is called Social Experiment.
We'll
Yeah,
get to that. We'll get to that.
yeah,
But there was a lag time between you living and you getting back to creating music.
yeah.
What was that like? Was just that you began to? Did you have resentment? Did you feel
No,
like
I just felt like I needed time.
you needed time?
Yeah, for me, time works. I work better. Sometimes I work better slow, because I had songs. In fact, I was doing songs within that period, but I couldn't release them because of some things, some personal things, and then yeah, then I got then also the confidence to just release them because I'm one to feel like I want to be able to pay the producer. Like I know people will give me free beats or whatever if I ask them, but I want to be able to pay people. I want to be able to like, you know, have mix master paid. Like yeah, again, I understand and I know people would do things for free for me. And you know, limiting myself to getting to a place where I can get money, you know, to pay for this, that in itself is, it holds me back. It does. But I also, it's the guilt which I should, you know, get get out of my heart and just do, accept, you know. And once you are able to, you can come back to them and yeah, and repay or just something. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's always that. There's always been that, and so social experiment. No, yeah, when it, social experiment. I recorded myself. Let me explain. Randall, Robert Randall. I'm trying to think of the name, which is much more familiar. He's the one who recorded me, and after that, he was recording Plan B. Like he was Plan B's producer.
R.I.P. Right?
R.I.P. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And then he recorded Let Me Explain, and then I recorded myself for social experiment. I was at home and it's like, you know what, I have a laptop. Let me just try to see. And then I gave it out for mixing and mastering. Big shout out to MC Gize and Kevin Grands. Oh my gosh, they helped me a bunch. Like, and also Fancy Fingers, when he did that song, he mastered it as well. What else? Who else? The song with Ben Soul, his producer. Come on now. I've forgotten. I know him because that's my friend. and I can't remember the name. Yeah, he also did some mixing and mastering for the song that we did. But most of the songs that I recorded myself. Yes, I was very comfortable like recording that.
I used to think social experiment was like something you were trying to do. Like it was more of a concept of like a life thing.
Yeah.
Was it that way and then you boiled it down to the music, or was it just,
It was
it was
actually
just something about yourself?
yeah, it was something about myself because most of the songs there were just like covers. Like I did covers in the songs and um, for songs that I had done previously, and I did covers for songs that are there that people like the Generico backup on my BS. Um, but it was really an experiment for me, like even from me recording myself, for me just putting it out there just like that, like just saying, you know what, and also daring myself to have everything done within a week. Yeah, which I did like from my birthday to I guess no, was it no before it was before my birthday. Or was it before? Okay, I don't know. But I was daring myself. Can I have something done within like a week? And I did have it done. And then I think I had to postpone the release date because yeah, it was supposed to come out on my birthday or on the 20th, and then I think I just went into a huge depression. Like I just was sinking at that point, and I told people, yeah, I'm not feeling well. Like mentally, I'm not in a space to put it out. Like and because I had all the project and I would have, but I wouldn't have promoted it. So I was just like, just yeah, wait for a week or something, and then I released it like after a week. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You've always been vocal with even when you're not creating. Like it's always your tweets, it's always your
It's always
stories, it's
something.
always something. It's
Yeah,
always like, yeah, it's always something.
it's the
And
fire sign in me.
yeah.
It's always something. Yeah.
So like when does that come from your childhood, how you were brought up? Does it come from just the schools you went to? Does it
Just
come
always
from
doing something.
always like wanting to be
And it's just
vocal,
me.
always, yeah.
That's just my energy.
Yeah.
I've always been vocal, even when I was ignorant. It's like so loud, but so loud, but so dumb or something. You're giving nothing, but so loud.
Then it's okay.
That's me. That's me criticizing my Facebook post. Oh my gosh, so loud for totally nothing. Criticizing myself, like, oh my gosh, look at her. Now, what is she saying? That's me. Every day I criticize myself. I criticize myself for shit I did like last year,
Yeah.
for things I did like beginning of the year. But
Yeah.
it's growth. It's like the growth in me. Nowadays I just pull back. It's just like think about it first.
Yeah.
And then like but there's no shame in just speaking out and being corrected, because if you're not speaking out, if you're not being corrected,
Yeah.
you're
And
simply not
I was
moving.
even going to connect that with the mental health thing. Like you've been one of the few people who's very vocal about even therapy process, the tools you can pick from therapy. I think I've read one or two things from you,
Yeah.
and it's very detailed, very researched, or very like informed from whatever sources you get. And what's your take on that with artists and their mental health
First,
state,
yeah.
rappers, musicians? Like, how do you navigate like those moments?
First of all, the reason I do the research is because I wanted to be a psychologist, like a clinical psychologist, and, therapist, or just somebody in that like counseling, avenue. Uh, but then going to school for it is another thing. Like it's a lot of money. That's all I need. That's all I mean to say. So I like being vocal about it because I go through it. I feel like if I wasn't as vocal, I wouldn't have gotten the help that I needed, or I wouldn't have gotten the support or the community that I needed, or people in my life who just point me towards, read this, call this, talk to me, and all that. I wouldn't have known the things that I know now because, I've had to go through, people actually telling me how to go about something, and yeah, and that's why I am. It's just like recent, not even, yeah, actually, even recently, like every single time I mention something like, this is just an example, something like RSD, and it's just like, oh, what is that? It's just like rejection syndrome, rejection sensitive dysphoria. And it's like a lot of people, even those who have it, don't know that they do. And it's good to actually identify if you do have it because it helps you navigate life easier because you're way in your mind about rejection, criticism, about no's, about what you do wrong, about how you acted. You start overthinking to points where you you get anxiety for weeks or you get depression for months. But once you identify it and you actually know there are things you can't control, and we all mess up. We all act a fool. We all become clowns. Like we're meant to, we all get criticized. We don't know it all. Once you get to know that, and trying to control what other people think about you, there's that as well. It's like, oh, so what do they think about me? Like, yeah, how I present myself. So you limit yourself and how you act around people and what you say, and if you need to say more, yeah, or less, like such an example. So that's why I'm vocal, because it's like this has helped me, like once I presented this, because for me I'm always like, yeah, just ask your therapist or or whichever, professional, if this could be the case, because I may be wrong. However, it's presenting as this.
Okay.
That's why it's good to take care of your mind. It's just how you take care of your body. If your mind is not okay, then your body will start failing you eventually. Yeah, it's all connected. So, and as creatives, I feel like we're more prone to like depression and anxiety and whatever because we're in a profession or we're in an area where everything is so uncertain. Like you cannot predict where you'll be next year. You cannot predict if you'll still be having a steady income. You have to have a side hustle. You have to do A, B, C, D to be consistent. You have to release songs. What if I don't want to release songs for a year? Will I eat? Am I releasing songs because, I just want to eat? I want to have a place to live. I want clothes on my back. Yeah. Yeah. So we have we go through a lot, and so just being like you're not alone, like I promise you. However, it's like someone feels, oh, but you're in a better position, you're in a better situation. It's like, I wish you knew right now, so yeah, I feel like we should all take care of ourselves mentally. We should all reset. We should all plug out of social media sometimes. We should all look for something, therapy, something that can help us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
And we should be informed about it. Like it being okay to not be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you and you and HR kind of, yeah, it's kind of the same wavelength type of thing. And so like back to the music, you did Social Experiment, Let Me Explain, and then there was the one with K the Great,
Oh
Tattoo,
yeah, tattoo. Yeah. Which is
kind
supposed to be like a series of songs.
yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it because of the same. I had done this project called Maliza Road. I had like 3 songs.
I
So
remember.
I when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is dope. Back to minimalism, like
Yeah. I
three
wanted to do
gems.
another one, like
Yeah.
another EP with a different producer,
How did
and
that? I
another.
really liked the minimalist approach and the music and
Yeah.
the whole. It felt very fun and free. How did that come about? Like,
Excuse me. I was working with Provoke at that point. No, I think I was going in to record something for somebody, and then he's just like, "Oh yeah, I have tracks from K to Great. Would you like to work on them?" And then I got in. I got into like the booth and I started recording, and it was done. Like it was a pretty simple process. Like, yeah, just get in there, just do something, just make it an EP, 3 songs. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like that's what Provoke would say. Like just do it. So I did that within like month. Is it a month or weeks? I don't know. It was out, and it was like a project that I love the most. Actually, not the most. I'm lying, but a project that I actually adore. Yeah, because it was before social experiments, and I thought social experiment would come way sooner, like it would be in 2019, but then in 2020 I was just like, yeah, just do it, like it's gonna be a mixtape. Social experiment was meant to be an album, but then I was just like, yeah, I can't do pay people for this, so I should just do covers, or something that you're not profiting from, and yeah, so that's when I decided to do the tape.
Okay.
But the EP was the first one that came after Let Me Explain. Tattoo, yeah.
But with all these projects, do you think you've actually like told your story? Have you told your story? Have you
Yeah.
shared? Do you
I feel
feel
like I
like,
have shared bits,
yeah,
like a
but do
lot.
you feel like you've really like, or do you feel there's still more? And also the
There's
mental
more.
health stuff that you're talking about, do you see it at some point going into the music?
I do.
Yeah.
Like even in moment.
Yeah. Ah, yeah.
Like when I say maybe I'm selfish, maybe I'm self-centered, maybe I say that I'm okay, but I'm just never, like people say, "Yeah, I'm okay, we're just never." So I've put it in music, even in Let Me Explain. The BIGH that I did with Deval Kilonyor, an amazing rapper from South Africa, it starts with, it's like I'm thanking people in the beginning. Why do I not know how it starts? Hey, ladies, friends and family that waited. How could you be so? How could you be so? How could you be so sure, believing and looking for? Yeah. Then I start with fighting all of my demons with fire. They keep on dreaming. Sometimes I'm so uninspired, but trying to get through my deep. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I do address it. Yeah, and actually, yeah, even the same song. It's like I go. Sometimes they forget the drama is real. For months and running, for months and running. See my mama being ill, lost in pain and confusion. Can't even blame the ones using. Sometimes you want to fake it, but only know how to be real. Like yeah. So
Yo.
I
Is
do
that
address
is
it.
that some of the realest stuff you've ever written? Like, is there a verse you feel that has some of the, not even necessarily real, but you feel it came from a true place? I think
Meaningful song that I've put.
it doesn't have to be meaningful. Can be something just that was true to you, like a verse or a,
Oh yeah, it's the song with Sichangi.
yeah. Because you were in a flow.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
like,
can I hear something?
oh, from
Yeah,
that, it's just like it starts with a lot of f bombs, whatever.
it's okay.
It's like
It's
leave me
funny. See,
alone, leave my clothes alone, leave my wholeness, leave my choices, leave my home alone, leave my broken past. If you're focused on, give me a moment. Don't need your bogus opinions. Hold them home. This what it feel like this what it feel like to something honest living. Yeah, fucking complicated, but I'm kind of driven. Trying to make it better also for my children. Fuck how it be looking like the ones that really got a problem with it. Yeah.
no, dope.
Like
That's
the
on.
entire is just like really deep. And even the hook is just like, I'm just lost in in the same roller coaster. The only question remains, when is it over? I sing it, when is it over? It's not temporary, I am certain, but my heart keeps yearning for when it's all over. And then I go, I'm not the same as yesterday. I cannot dwell on my mistakes. Oh, I still embrace my humanness. I am deserving. Yeah. Of brighter days, and honestly, my lowest days are part of this life. I can't explain, but I am worth it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really a song. People love that song.
That's on Sichangi's project.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Star.
Star, okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. You also like, I like how you collaborate with you have like an ear for no ear, but
Yeah.
you gravitate towards certain like sounds and vibes.
Yeah,
It's an intentional process,
it
or it's
is.
just like some how you feel about artists and
It is because let's start with production. I've always been keen on production. Like I know what I want. I do not want 80 or 90% of the trap beats that I get off it. But I do have trap beats that have an element that I'm just like, wait, I love this. And I feel like I can do more with this. I feel like I can take this to another level. And that's the reason why even I'm not mad at the production of my album with like Sony. I'm not mad at it because it was really ahead of its time. Like look at We Ride. That beat is give it to somebody right now. I swear. Look at Hit 'em Up. Amazing. Like I was working with amazing producers, the Fahrenheits, Angolan. There's DC and then there is King, Jalma. So like the production till this day, even Wild, amazing. If you listen to all the elements and everything, genius. Yeah. And when it comes to like people who do like artists, yeah, I'm also, I can be quite choosy. Like I can be like, you are talented, but I don't know what to do with you. And then I can be like, I see what we can do with like ABC. Again, I'm not in this to work with like everyone. We don't always need to work. We can just vibe and I can appreciate your music. That's the problem with like artists, like the industry is just like you feel like, oh, just because I know you, we should work. We can live in the same house. We won't work a day in our lives because we're in different directions. Or we will. Whatever will work will work. Or we will at a certain time where we feel it's right, where the vibes are just right, where it's not forced, where I'm not working with you because I know you. I'm working with you because genuinely I hear you in this song and you hear yourself in this song. So I work with vibe a lot. And of course, again, the mass consumption thing, for me, like that's part of it. Like I don't need to be on every song. I can place myself on a song if I want to, but sometimes it's just not worth it, especially if it's like, oh yeah, so that's why for me, I have this, I don't let anyone pay me for features. Like, pay for features, I don't believe in that. It's like, what if I just don't want to work? If I just don't want to work with you, like generally, like I will turn, because I have turned down like pay for features. Like, oh, can you feature on my song? Just tell me. The amount is like, let me just listen to the song. If I like it, I'll work on it. If I don't, well, I just don't. Yeah.
and do you have like a fantasy dream collaboration?
No,
You don't have not locally, but just in
no.
your mind. You've never thought of,
Maybe working.
or you're very practical with everything
I move with a vibe.
with
It's
the
like
vibes.
that's why I've never had like a dream collaboration. I mean, I want to work with people like the Hicks. They're UK. Like they're so off, but
Yeah,
still,
like or
but still
bus,
they've
yeah,
worked with Bass.
bus, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like so off, and I want to work with them. Like, but I don't have like dream collaborate.
Do you think like I like you brought that up? Do you think like that's what's missing in the Kenyan industry, where like this the people in different genres
Yeah.
boxed in like, oh, you're a hip hop artist. Do you think
Yeah.
because we don't cross, is there something that is
Especially,
there like an injection that we need? Like there's crossing, but it's not done in such an eclectic way. We're
yeah.
the most unexpected person. Like Will.i.am used to do hooks for
The funny
Blue.
thing is, I was thinking of that word,
Yeah.
eclectic. I was actually, and then you said it literally a second
Telepathy.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, but I feel also like exploring the sound. We just, when we're doing a crossover, I feel like it's always a sound that we would expect. It's always like the most popular sound is what we're going for. And I'm just like, you guys could have experimented for real. Like, just go away, just move away from, just make it. A person like Blinky Bill, I respect him for what he does, and he actually does that. He experiments on sounds, and I'm quite proud of that. And yeah, maybe we need more of that. Maybe we do. But then to see force, yeah.
To see force.
To see force. You could as in Guinea, like you'll just try
Anyways,
to like it will feel it's good that you experience it and all that, but see force, yeah.
have you ever tried a hand-on production? Because you have a very
Oh man.
extensive,
Even
yeah.
yesterday I
Have you
was
ever
just like
sat on Fruity Loops or Logic or and just
I have. And I've decided that I will someday get into because I have this wild ideas. Even yesterday, I had an idea of a beat, and it's just like I couldn't take it from my mind to. And if you know, like once you do, and then it's just like, no, this is not even how I wanted it to sound. I'm that kind of a person. It's like I know the kind of, elements I want in it, but I can't for my life get them, or I do not know like what. I have to sit for hours, and for me, I'm just like a child. My attention span is like, why can't I get it right now? Then I go, oh, well, somebody will.
you mentioned like monetary, like hurdles that artists go through, and even though someone from outside looking in, someone may be like Xtatic has been bestowed with opportunities. She has like maybe she's on a privileged
Yeah.
place, but what's been your own personal take? And I'm seeing like you're extending with the Kitu Jaba, and that's like an entrepreneurial like right direction
Yeah.
towards something. Was this also just something that came naturally to you? Like you
Yeah, I
just
did. I've actually been doing Java before, Java Juice especially before so many companies, even brands came up. I've been doing Java since 2016. Yeah, so that's way far back before like there was Natural, before there was Java Juice by Hiram Petio, and Kirby's brand. Like that was way before, and it's because I was chewing one day and I was like, I am so tired. I cannot sustain this because I used to do that to read. I never thought I would read. Not that I'm dyslexic, but my ADHD would not allow me to. It's either you have a fixation where you can read or not. Because you look at a page, you get to the end, I got nothing from that page. I look at it again. Kwanza utengano, oh my gosh. I was just like, let's breathe in. Like when you breathe to focus, like
colorful.
nothing. So once I started taking Java, like chewing it, like, oh my gosh, I can hyper focus on reading. Like I can read a book like in 2 days and I'm done. And then that's when my obsession just was just like, what is this? Like, cool. It's not only for just chilling and talking, then it can make me focus. So I started making like the juice for myself, just a basic lemon, whatever. And I do it over and over and over for years. And, most people would tell me, why don't you make it a business? And I would be like, I don't know. And then, of course, because of the responsibilities that I have, I just had to make it a business. It's just like, I have a lot to handle. I have a lot of even what is it called, responsibilities, debts here and there, whatever. Let me just begin. I started from like a very low place in my life, and I have been there so many times, like where literally I am Fuliza deep. Yeah, like we get in there and come back up, getting there. Like it's because I take care of my siblings. I am my siblings everything. I take care of my kids. I take care of my house. I have that. Everything has to be, utilities. And I'm always like, I'm jealous, but I'm always like, of people who it's just you. It's just you. It's not you. And, or you're getting help or you're receiving help from like family members or you have family. I always feel like I'm just, sometimes it's just because recently I was just saying, it's just me. It's just me. It's not me and my auntie, not me and whichever parent figure. It's just me in this world. Like I can't crumble. I can give myself space to crumble, but it's just me, like, and I have to have this. I have to have things figured out. I have to keep it together because, hey, at the end of the day, People will not eat vibes. Yeah, so I have to take care of so much that people do not understand. It's just like, oh, it looks like privilege. Like, let me tell you, stay one day in my life, and see all of this response, like what I go home to, what I have to, you know, and you know, my siblings do help me, you know, once in a while. But then I'm just like their everything, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of like, dude, that's like respect because a lot of male artists, once they get to the point of responsibility, they push creativity away. Like we kind of told like there's no way creativity and being responsible can coexist
Yeah.
in the same space.
That's the reason
So
why I don't
so
even
it's
do
like a
music.
superpower, whatever you like.
I
The
actually
fact
don't
that
do music because of like a lot of because you have just like this time I would have been using it to get money. This time, yes, you can get money within the creative space, but still, it won't give me money right now, you know. But so let me learn. I went into online writing, you know. That's what I was working. In fact, that's why I also started, you know, making the juice because I was working at night. It wasn't because of reading as well. Reading, yes, reading for the jobs. You know, it was, you know, writing jobs. They go, you know, I work on American time, so during the usiku mzima, I'm wide awake, just working, 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 getting more jobs, working. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's dope that people might think it's just a an escapist drug, but now
Yeah.
you're saying it helped you actually stay in the moment
Yeah.
and being present. And
Yeah.
I'm feeling like that can be, if you want to, an idea for like Kitujaba and literature, like fusing all these
Yeah.
elements of things together. But yeah, I think that's the right direction
Thank you.
of an artist to take. Do you feel a lot of artists are missing out on having that entrepreneurial spirit? Is it that you have to be pushed to the wall to realize, like, oh, I should have done this before, or is just
For
the
ADHD folks, yes, we work on what urgencies. It's like the urgency for something to be done. It's like, I've had a whole week to do this job, but today, those last 2 hours is when I will get done. Like, you know, we work like that. And I do not, okay, well, I do know why. Like, there's this time concept that our time concept is so weird. It's so special. It's not even weird. It's just special. Like we're like, this is a lot of time. Come on, it's a lot of time. And then now, on the 2 hours, like it's not a lot of time. But then we get it done. Like now, that's the thing. We still will get it done. But yeah, I feel like creatives we may lean, it just depends from one person to the other. It's not even about being a creative because some people work on urgency, some people work on, you know, is it efficiency, whatever. Yeah. So we're all different, but yeah, creatives. I feel like sometimes we want this to work so much. We want to put in everything we got, and that's the reason why later on it's just like, okay, so I can also do this, you know, I can as well do this. Yeah, we just need to be more encouraged to do it. Just take a few steps to just paint, you know, paint for fun. Like don't paint because just know why you started painting, or you know, you're an artist, just paint and then maybe you can sell your paintings or whatever it is, just do it. And it's easier. Again, I hate saying that it's easier said than done. I because you know I always want to do. You know, I don't want to be. It's easier said. Yeah,
and has being a mom affected like
it
how
does.
you create, how you
Yeah.
think about your music? Do you like feel sometimes, do you hold yourself when you want to say something, saying like, oh,
Nah.
my child will hear this when she's
No.
grown up? Do you, it hasn't done that to you?
Nope.
Yeah. But how has
Because
it changed you though?
first of all, I there are people who try to, and the people who have been in my life who've tried to create that in my mind. You should think of your kids and whatever, and the content you put out and whatever. And I'm like, I am my own person. They will be their own people. And I don't want them to have that, oh, you should think of the family you come from, your mother, your dad. No, 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 no. Just do you. As long as you're not harming anybody, just do you. I am my own person. If I wanted to start an OnlyFans, I will start an OnlyFans. If I was to be a sex worker, I would be proudly a sex worker. And I want them to know that. It's like, you can, this is not, if my content right now is not for you, it's not. I tell them like that. So I tell them that exactly. So my daughter doesn't even bother checking my music. Like her friends tell, oh, your mom's music. It's like, yeah, but it's not for me, for now. There's some that she knows, and then there's some that, she just doesn't focus on things that are not. I let her pace herself, like, naturally, like grow, live that moment. Don't try to grow, grow up too fast and whatever. Like, choose what you like, And so I don't have to think about them. I am my own person before them. Then I am a mom to them. Does it, does my music or anything I do or I would do online not affect really, but will it affect my parenting capabilities? Nah. If I'm still, you know, I still mom the same way. It doesn't take away. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's a very amazing journey. I know we could like get into so many spaces and things that but now we're here. We're at the Fanisi
Yeah.
experiment show, the music, the TV, and all this thing. And you're about to do a gig next week. So what was going through your mind when you maybe accepted to do the gig, or where are you like now in a creative space?
I am in a space where I think having the Fanisi experiment is literally an experience. It's like, like there's performing. Go on, perform. But this has been an experience in itself. It just feels like, even when you're done with the performance, like, oh, now I have to not speak to these people anymore. Okay, I mean, I will speak to them, but not like the way that we have been speaking. It's like it's like we are dropping, it's like we're almost in labor of this whole, the experience of this whole project, right? And it's just been experiencing new ideas, seeing music differently. Like Gala has helped me see a lot very different, and I'm loving the experience, like all through every single day, and how things are being handled. It's very like delicate. It's like, okay, fine, let's look for an alternative. It's like we're not giving up. We're doing this, we're doing that. We're gonna do, if we can't do this, we'll do this instead. So there's always, which is making it easier for a lot of the people that we're working with, the band and the people who are managing the entire project. So yeah, it's quite an experience, and I can say it's one of the best. This has been, if not the best, or just it's the best experience I've had with like preparing for a performance. You know, it's really surreal. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort that's been put in, and it's making me feel, alive as an artist again, and wanting to do even more for myself and wanting to have this more. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love that you insisted on having Jaquil as your.
Oh, kill
Yeah, I
will.
kind of thought about it, and then he called me and he said, "Oh, can you look for Jaquil?" I was like, "Oh, that's a perfect match." I don't know why,
Yeah.
though, but yeah. And when I talked to him, and now that I'm talking to you, I'm seeing a lot of like, there's this, is it the trueness to your artistry?
Yeah.
It's like that thing is
We're
still there.
almost like the same person. I feel like we're twin flames when it comes to rap. Me and him, like not even rap, artistry in general, because he does sing as well, and he does have like the same ideas, and even how he picks like his production is almost like the same. I would pick that. You picked something, I would pick. I would do. So I was from the moment go. Like I was just like, nah. Like you should be. We feels like it's not a transition to. There's not. It's not a big difference. Like you will still maintain them. It's like a different voice change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you met him before? It's just like
I
through
know
listening to his music.
hey, we've known each other. I feel like once he came up or came out, like as a rapper, I was right there. It's like, and I don't know how, but I know like I was one of the first fans, if not like, artist friends. I'm not sure, but I just feel like I knew him from the moment go, and I was like, damn, this is so, this is amazing. Like I don't have anything to correct. Yeah, okay, like how you have criticism in your mind. It's like, yeah, but I have nothing. Like he's really just a genius. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Like speaking to you is making me realize, like we kind of need not gatekeepers, but we kind of need people to like direct culture in a certain way, especially for hip hop when sometimes everything is just thrown on the wall. But I feel like you care about like craft and music,
Yeah.
and you really want it, like it's genuine. You either like it or you don't, but it's not from a place of you have self-interest in
Yeah.
things. It's just the music. So I don't know, with hip hop being at 50, I don't want to put it in that context, but just like with
Yeah.
hip hop in general, in the
Yeah.
state it is in the world, do you feel we need some sort of like streamlining? Because how rock reached at some point and they're
Yeah.
like, this is punk rock and this is, or not even genre wise, just to have,
I
do you
feel
feel
like
that's necessary or that's also
I think it's already there, especially
okay?
in hip hop. That's the reason why we have different cultures. Like I love that in Nairobi, and I hope that even drill was celebrated. Like they had their own thing because we had a lot of things going on, especially on the weekend, and I was happy to see that. So there are lots of cultures there, and people can identify at this day and age what is what. We're not, we shouldn't even be substituting one person when they're in different categories. It's like let them all, like the cake is the same, the cake is big enough for everybody.
Okay.
So that's what people do, like when it comes to like mass consumption, and I do talk about it a lot because it does affect us, it does affect everyone, because there's this idea that we should consume people one at a time. And it's just like, I get how people can be, oh yeah, in a weekend I've had like 5 shows and all that. I don't get it though. I get it from their perspective, like, yeah, it's something to brag about. I'm just like, weekend, I only want one show, tukienda sana mbili. Like, I wouldn't take on a third show. I wouldn't be one to do that. So you'd be fainting on stage. Well, what are you passing out on stage just because of exhaustion? Just because, nah, I don't want to waste away on and giving people half-baked performances. Yeah, I want everything to just flow and flow easily, like ease, like give me ease. I love ease. I want ease, in my life. So I feel like there is a lot of like people can identify like the categories, like when they listen to a sound, when they know what this person, and especially I love it when they know that, because they know where to find us. You will not find me here, so stop asking where is my music, where do I perform. You will find me here. Be updated, know the spots where they're owning that culture of whatever it is, whatever genre it is. Like, because you will hear the concerts for this type of gigs, that the trip hop artists. We also have like trip hop artists. We also have we have plenty of people like very indie, amazing. It's amazing out here when I learn, especially, oh, here's where I can get this type of music here, especially these types of artists, this genre. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You keep mentioning mass consumption. Is it
It's a
an
thing I have a
yeah,
problem with.
and I also kind of get you because lockdown happened and we saw how easily it was to like just create for the sake of
Yes.
creation. And
Yes.
then it's like we chose to forget that. We just saw how the world
And
can work.
how people consumed almost a lot of people's content. It
Yeah.
wasn't about like one person. Like, yeah, this person gained, this person also gained, this other person also gained. It was really fun. It was really nice because yeah, now we're creating for the sake of. We're going back to why we the why. The why is the passion. And that's the reason why I have like this tag on my Twitter. Music is a passion. Like, just don't come at me talking about, oh, your career this, your career that. It's like, it's a passion.
Yeah.
Because once it's a career, it means that at any point, anyone can kill it. You know? A passion, can you kill it? Can you? No. It's within me. It's the fire within me. It's what makes me create. Yeah.
And most people justify mass consumption by saying, "Oh, it's capitalism. We have to participate." But when capitalism like is at the it's
It's
about to fall, like during
falling.
lockdown, it borrows like from socialism and
About to fall,
communism
or it
when
still
people
is. It
need
is.
help. Yeah. So do you think it's an audience problem or an artist problem, or is it just it's not a problem? It's just a thing that's there.
It's a thing that's been there. It's
Yeah.
how actually it's a capitalistic idea. Mass consumption is a capitalistic idea where, oh, let's take in one at a time. Let's build this brand, and that's what even the labels do. While they were quiet, they were working for everybody else but me, you know. And that's even for me with Kitujaba. Every time I learn, like, oh, do you want to be an exclusive vendor? I'm like, no, everybody bring their Java. Come on now. Even when we were at some gig, I was buying and tasting other people's. I was actually buying, because for me, I love, you know, like that. I'm not coming to you to take a sample. I'm coming to you to buy. You know, you already know what you're doing. You know, I always trust. Now that's, oh yeah, can we samples? No, I know what I'm doing. So I think you know what you're doing. So let me buy. Let me, you know, like sample. Yeah. So I love doing, and I've sampled like a lot of people's Java. And that's why, and I feel like everyone has their own unique tastes, unique flavors, and it's very interesting, you know, being in this field and just appreciating what other people are doing. It takes all these resources that we have and then puts it into one person, into very few people. While it could work for all of us, the resources are out there, they're enough for all of us. Yeah, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
so against it and I speak out on it.
That's such an abundant place to be at. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
because when you just thinking there's mass consumption, mass appeal, mass media, like so many things have to be put
Yeah.
in mass for them to make
For someone to
sense,
not, you
to
know,
say like this makes
when
sense.
is enough, you know? Because it's never enough.
Yeah.
It's always like, I want to. But you realize, like, once you get somewhere, all you're trying to feed is greed. You can never feed it. It can never be enough. It will never be enough. Oh my gosh, I built a mansion, but now I want to build a castle so I could, you know, show. And then that's the reason why, like, it's very sad. Like, really, I don't feel like you need a whole castle. Even some houses are just like, really, come on. Like, when it comes to how we use, how we spend, and that's why we do not have like an abundant, you know, especially with people. Like, you feel like abundance because, oh yeah, I'm getting all this. No, you're also taking from, because the same person who is doing that, you find they're underpaying someone, undercutting. It's just like, oh yeah, so you're going to build all this, but you're not going to pay your producer, you're not going to pay your video, whatever, enough. You're not going to pay them enough. You're going to pay them, but not enough. It's just like, let's say you have a nanny, right? A perfect example how people move. So you
Yeah.
move to a now you move to a, what is it called, a mansion,
Bigger
whatever,
place.
and you find it hard to move their money from in the same way that yours has moved. You know, it's just like, see, this is just housework. This is just a menial job. You know, what do you mean you want 20? It's like, sir, you live in a mansionette, you have a good job, you are earning. It's just the same thing as a producer. Why am I looking at paying with money that I do not have, paying. Sometimes I've even told a producer, why are you charging me 3,000? Like, can we make it 10? I've been, in that, in those spaces when I've rented. I was telling like bonkers were speakers like I don't rent, I rent and then I buy. Like I don't know how to let go. Like that's my appreciation. Like every single time someone has tiled me, I've always bought something or some things or entirely whatever I was given, because it's just that I just want the appreciation to be there for them, and not in, oh, fiti, do you want to promote? No, it's just like if I can, I will. And if you should move up with everybody, you can move up with everybody. You can start a business for your nannies. The, like that's how I see the world. So for me, capitalism is just like it's
X.
killing a lot of us. Even the people that feel like they're benefiting from it, they're dying.
That's true.
They're dying from it. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about also appreciation. And there's appreciation in the sense of increase, then there's appreciation in the sense of moving it forward.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
I feel with women in it sometimes it's always not the case. For
Yeah, it's
example,
not.
we had let me this might be a we had this event on Saturday where you're supposed to perform. It didn't go as planned. But when I looked at it, like in hindsight, it kind of became like a metaphor for Kenyan hip hop and women.
Yeah.
Because also there was a female DJ and her equipment didn't work as she planned. And I was like, oh, okay, all the ladies who were supposed to like grace the occasion had like something mishappening, you know? So
Yeah.
looking back, I was like, is that a metaphor or am I overreading into things?
You're
And I'm
not.
wondering, like, I know there's issues that have come about safety in studios. What's her
Yeah.
name? She wrote a whole article some time back about a
Let me
famous
let me
producer. Yeah,
specifically even
yeah.
speak about that. Most people say, "Where have you been?" They go like, the reason why I can't manage or work with, a big, artist, or is because, oh, wako na issues ni nini. They don't even release music so much. They're not in studio all the time. And it's just like, it's a safety thing. Sometimes we don't want to be, like, we've faced so much sexual harassment. So much. Like, let me tell you, a day, like how people go a day in the life of being like a babe. And it's just like, I wish one day you had that. It's like you completely, like, genie transforms you. And then not even a day, have a month. Just walk around, just walking around. Now imagine working with people, like people feel so entitled to your everything. So in the studio spaces, you find like most women don't actually go record because of the same thing, and then we end up not having enough money to even do studios, like actual studios. And then once we're there, there's always comments, there's always this rush while they're not giving the same rush to men. It's just like, yeah, you're taking a lot of my time. It's very sexist. It's very, and it's a lot, and it happens till this day. And that's why when people are saying, oh, you guys take so long to release stuff, oh, and then you take breaks, and then all of a sudden you guys are pregnant, all of it, it's just like, yeah. And look at Rihanna. You can be pregnant and still performing. You can be pregnant and still recording and releasing stuff. It's just that you feel like we're incapable. You already feel like we're incapable when we're not even, sick or pregnant. But now that is like the sexism is so deep. It's really so deep. And that's why, like, even lineups, you find that this entire weekend, right? Like the hip hop weekend. And I'm thinking, where else were female rappers being represented? Where else? What stages? It was only the Fanisi experiment. Otherwise, it was just like, it was so male. What is it? What is that? Male centered, you know? it just felt unfair. Like, no, this is not the way. This is not how it should be. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen like in the world, like there's now like female only. I don't like the word female, but women only
Yeah.
gyms, like all the spaces that are coming up, like because now the pendulum is kind of swinging, and women can have the ability to empower themselves, like
Yeah.
the way you say, you sometimes you don't, you rent and then you own, like those, that's a powerful thing for a young artist to hear and listen, and it seems possible. Like, have you
Because
thought about
these
like,
designers go through, like, just a point, sorry to cut you off, like they go through points where they've just only rented. And you can, I mean, you rent something, go
yeah,
and wear it, go to a club, buy a bottle that is done, like a bottle that's like 10K, get done with it that same night. You would have bought like the entire outfit, you know? Instead, it's just like, yeah, they presented the opportunity to just dress them. So, they're styling me. Sometimes they even go like, no, see, me, I'm posting you. See, just give it to me, style me for free. There's always that. It's just like, why is it a debate? Just appreciate and carry it forward. Like,
yeah,
even if somebody is, trying to, style you for free or whatever, like, you can, but why can't you? Like, the stylist is right there telling you the price, and then you're there like, hey, unajua shika boti mbili, it's like on my bill. It's just like, wow, clothes, they're there, like, drip is forever. Like, why can't you just support the business in that way? Like, we think of things which are so temporary, like, yeah, and useless
drip
most of the
is
time.
milele. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Anyway, I was saying, have you thought of like coming together as ladies in art and having like your own lady owned studios, like female owned studios,
Yeah.
female owned studios where like you control the craft, you
Yeah.
control your time, control your own release. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know.
um
Or there's still politics that
it
might
is.
rise in between that.
Yeah, so like women in photography, like black women in photography, I've seen like they get grants, they offer grants to like black women in photography, and I've loved that movement. And I feel like we actually do have a group of women, like on it's a WhatsApp group, and we inform each other of like the opportunities that are um, that where we are needed, like apply for this. And yes, I feel like maybe we should get more. We don't get a lot of grants. We don't get a lot of funding, actually, especially as rappers. Singers, maybe as a singer who is doing or making, but I've not seen that with like women, like especially in music, especially in hip hop. And that's a good idea, come to think of it, that I would do that. I've always thought of, if I ever got like this chunk of money, I want to dedicate it to just like have a safe space where, women can record, where we have the woman or babe or anyone who's a safe, person to record with, where they feel safe, we're safe with this, like where we can have, informed, like we can have like a lot of, it's like a therapy, whatever, like where people can just feel safe, where we can have sessions like really nice, lighthearted, like very flowing, like where we can heal together, where we can grow together. And yeah, it's been part of my like things that I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of things you want to bring forth, yeah, like what's the future for your music? I don't like when people say, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" and
Yeah, I
just
don't see
everything. Nah.
myself anywhere.
Yeah, so it's just like,
We
what's in the kitchen? What's
um
in the brain and the heart? What's cooking?
I don't know. Wherever it will, wherever, I don't know, my craft or my interest will lead me to. However, I do want to do more, to release more music. I want to release my album, which is my EP, actually, two EPs. Okay, well, it will be an EP with like a side A, side B. I don't know. I guess
Any working title right now?
no,
Okay,
nothing.
cool.
But I'm singing all through. Experimenting on a lot, and I do want to do a collaborative work as well with artists and with producers. Already, the EPs are with producers, so with artists as well. Yeah.
Okay. So that's it's just the future is mostly music. What about Kitujaba and
Yeah, Kitujaba, yeah,
yeah.
grow it, do more with it, I guess. Try to see how we can involve like community work, like with it, even as a brand itself, as a
Okay.
Java brand. And, as you mentioned, a lot of literature, like making a story out of it. And,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So I want to do that as well. I'd
Yeah.
love to do that with a brand. There's so much more. Yeah.
Yeah. Then what are you consuming on your not mass level? What are you consuming on a niche level?
In terms of,
Music, art, like
wow.
even food. It's also something. Whatever you consume, what are you taking in at this time from life, from creators, from something that gives you inspiration, joy?
Actually, of late, nothing. It's been nothing. It's just been me working
Creating.
and me trying to, pace myself and get myself together and get a
Okay.
lot of things together. I think, yeah. So, really not so much. Unfortunately, however, it's okay to have that point of
Which is okay because everyone's just.
plateau, stagnant point. So, yeah.
Oh, I think we've exhausted, like we've talked about so
Yeah.
many things. So I just, if you have any words of wisdom, anything you'd like to share to not necessarily women, just creatives, don't let whatever you want to say about music, anything you feel like you'd ever want to just put it out there.
It's just very short. Don't forget why you started music or anything you have a passion for. Don't forget why you started. That's it.
Yo, this has been Fanisi TV. And that was
Thank you
Xtatic,
for having
Ria,
me.
Sams, Milele,
Sweetie,
forever.
Nyajangi, yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
and
Thank
thank
you.
you for listening and answering questions. And
Thank you for having me here. Yeah,
Aye.
it's been amazing. Yeah.